Alright, today we're back and we are going to be working on a Cub Cadet 22-ton log splitter, and this one is an old one. So the person that had it brought it to me and said it doesn't run with starting fluid anymore. So which means they've been using starting fluid for quite some time, and continued use of starting fluid can wear out rings and prematurely fail parts of the engine. So I was like, alright, I'll take a look at it and work on it. The first thing that I did notice is, I was like, well, maybe the carb needs done. So I did clean the carb, but there's a problem. Once I got into the carb, there's pieces missing from inside of there. He said his kid probably ended up trying to fix it first. So that's a problem. The air filter that's at the end of its life. It's ruined. So we have the engine here. At one point, something chewed through his spark plug cable, and he ended up fixing that with the green electrical tape. I also noticed that this wire is chewed almost the entire way through. I mean, it's completely exposed. And I also noticed that this thing had little to no compression, and if we tip it back, there's holes in the exhaust, so I don't even think I'd be able to get that thing off to replace it if I tried. So we were talking about it, and he said just replace the engine on it. And I was like, okay. So I had this laying around the shop. It's a Predator 212cc engine, and that's like 6.5, 6.6 horsepower. This old Tecumseh is 5.5, so he's gaining a horsepower in the end. I also noticed when taking it apart that the Lovejoy connectors, this one's shot. This one's already missing a tooth on it down here. The one on the shaft is no better. And on top of that, the rubber insert that's in there, eventually they dry rot and then they just crumble to nothing. Then you have metal-to-metal contact, which causes this. So we got new ones, and these ones will fit the shafts that I'm working on, and they're considerably bigger. So hopefully they fit, but we're going to end up putting the Predator engine on that, so we'll go ahead and do that. So for starters, if you're doing a project like this, instead of bolting it all down and then finding out, because this one, the way it sits in there, you can't get this back out unless you take the engine off again, check the orientation of your pull start. So we're going to have to remove the bolts on these, turn this so we can access it from this direction, and then we can start. Okay, so we have the engine lined up on the plate here. So all we're gonna do is feed these through. Now I wouldn't tighten all these down right away until you make sure that all this bolts and nuts are through and at least threaded a little bit. Now, the thing that's nice about log splitters is that you're not lining up a chain or anything. So these engines can be, they don't have to be perfectly straight 100%, even though it just looks better doing that. So we're gonna go ahead and get all these started by hand. If I can quit dropping shit. And then all we're gonna do is go over on the other side and do that side. There's no room for a camera over there, so I'm just gonna snug all these up by hand. Alright, so now the engine's bolted into place. The next thing we need to do is take some of the hardware off of the old engine. Hopefully I can do this without taking this off, but and look at that. Alright. So now all we have to do is mount this to the new engine, and hopefully the thread pattern's the same. Try to get some light in here. Good enough. Alright, let's see if this is the same thread pattern. And that is awesome. So we can go ahead and put those on. I do not recommend impacting these in. It's alright to take them out with an impact, but I personally wouldn't install them like that. I'm kind of glad that he opted for the new engine though, because once an engine gets so old and you're basically nickel and diming yourself to death. You know? If anyone knows what that's like, don't be afraid to let me know in the comments, because it's always fun to hear other people's stories. So... But a lot of the stuff with these Predator engines are just plug and play. I mean, they think of what they go into. You can put them on a log splitter, snowblower, mini bike. I mean, they're pretty universal. The thing I don't understand is the 212 cc Predators are dirt cheap. I think they're well built, but they're a dirt cheap engine. Now, if your log splitter takes the vertical shaft, then you're kind of in a pickle then. Because the vertical shaft ones, I think they're only 190 cc's, and they're a lot more expensive than the horizontal shafts. So I have no idea what the hell's going on with that. And I do notice that with the cast cover, this one is the Hemi head Predator. The one that's going in my mini bike, that one's on top of the bench there. That one's the non-Hemi. I like those ones a little bit better. It doesn't really matter, but if you're building something, there's a lot more parts for the non-Hemi than there is for the Hemi for some weird reason. So you're gonna put your little keyway in first. These are a little tight. Sometimes you have to pound this in. And that one's installed. You're gonna have your set screw here, and then when you rotate it in the other direction, there's another set screw there. But I wouldn't do this yet because you want to get everything to the point where it lines up. So you have your other plate for your hydraulic pump. So we're gonna put this on, and then we're gonna put the Lovejoy connector on. I have the keyway sitting here. Make sure you don't lose that. Alright, so I had to stop on the video earlier because with the couplings being a heck of a lot beefier than the original ones, and also I noticed that the shaft sticks out on the Predator further than it does on the original engine. Now a lot of people, they were cutting a section off of the crankshaft. I'm not exactly going to do that. If you go too short, then you're out an engine. So what we're going to attempt to do is these bolts right here, I ended up getting longer ones. What we're going to do is we're going to extend this housing instead, and then see if we can get it to work that way. Alright, so we got this housing into place. We have the coupler on, and then we have the longer bolts. So we're going to try to get this housing back together. And as you can see, quite a bit more threads stick out. I used the same grade of bolt that these ones were. You don't want to chintz out on these. You don't want to chintz out on these. That's all I'm saying. Basically, because the way that this whole entire assembly goes together, these are your structure support. So we're gonna have to put a spacer in here. So I got 6 of these. So we're just gonna screw these on as a spacer. And then we're gonna do this to all 3. All right, so we have everything into place. Them couplers are definitely, let's see if I can find a flashlight, definitely way beefier than the other ones. But he's gaining a horsepower in the engine department, and I figured I'd put the beefier ones on. Everything does fit. Nothing hits anything. And I had to use 2 extra nuts to extend that housing. So I gotta check the oil on this. The person I got this engine from said it was brand new. It doesn't appear to be much oil in it. He's a trustworthy person. I'm sure it runs, but he did put gas in it, and I noticed when I took off the cap, the ethanol already started wanting to build up. So how long this sat, I have no idea. But we're gonna. There's also a easy drain. What the hell am I thinking of? There's an extended stem on that for easy oil changes. So I'm going to probably take that one off, put it on this side, just to make life a little easier if it fits. If it doesn't, whatever, no big deal. But we're going to put oil in this and probably drain the gas, put fresh gas in, and then see if it runs. All right, so we got the new engine all put on, cleaned up. The person that had this engine before me, they put gas in it before they finished their project and left it in there for God knows how long, and it wouldn't start. So I drained the gas, cleaned the carburetor, only took a couple minutes, and then we got the coupler and everything put back together. So we're gonna go ahead and fire this up, see how it sounds, make sure the controls and everything work, and hopefully we're done. All right, not bad. Everything seems to be in working order. So the project wasn't too bad. The longest part was trying to get the couplings and everything in and extend that housing. So, and the thing is since this thing is brand new, the owner's gonna wanna change the oil in it very shortly, probably within a couple hours of runtime. It's just a good idea. So that's pretty much it. We're done with this project. Sorry for the mess in the shop. It's been a hectic winter. And if you like it, give it a like. If you have questions or comments, leave it down below. And thanks for watching.